it a while. What do we suspect this boy is here, first of all? This big fella here. That big fella seems to be what? Would look to be the what, eh? Well, we suspect initially that this could be the... Let me look at it macroscopically first. Yes, it seems to be right through the... Okay. So, we're seeing two cavities here. There are two cavities here. This large structure here. So, first of all, we're seeing juxtaposition of certain things. What immediately tells us, just looking at this, suppose we went into the exam and, or let me see if I could get it. Let's say, for example, using a student microscope, I can bridge from this point, look here, bridge from here, right over to here. So, our student microscope could do that. I could just bridge these 2 points very, very, very well. Alright? So, let me look at one thing before, first of all. Just want to look at one. Okay. So we're looking at the epithelium is not so fantastic here, but this is now stratified squamous. That's stratified squamous. This is what? Respiratory epithelium. So respiratory epithelium at this point, and stratified squamous right over here. Okay? So it means that the section is not cut along a real horizontal plane, but when they cut it, it's cut at an angle. Alright? So maybe a little higher here and a little lower over here. But what immediately strikes us is the fact that we are getting a number of features coming together. And what's it that tells us that is larynx? Cindy? What are the features that come together when you see it on this? So the examiner wants to set your larynx. He's going to declare what features must he give you to tell you that's larynx. And Cindy is very happy that I know her name. Very good. Cindy, what are the features now? 3 things that come together. 1, hyaline cartilage. 2, skeletal muscle. And 3, respiratory epithelium. Alright? When we see those 3 things together, then we know that that is larynx. Hyaline cartilage, skeletal muscle, and respiratory epithelium. Okay?
It's not to see a lot of glands as well.
Well,
a lot of glands. It's not to see a lot of glands.
Together with glands. Note that glands may or may not be there. So we're not going to look for glands to see that, because in that section that in the exam may have what? No glands at all. But where we see, for example, this is glandular right here. So we see a number of glands right here. But there's the skeletal muscle, alright? There is the hyaline cartilage. In fact, this is the retinoid cartilage. That's the sort of pyramidal, triangular shaped cartilage. That's the arytenoid. Okay? And over here, that's the other arytenoid that we're looking at over here. And then this now is respiratory epithelium. Okay? Now, let me just go back to look at this slide for a while. Okay, let's look at it and examine it for a while. So what we see is a lot of glandular tissue. There's hyaline cartilage. Now, suppose we got, let me see it from your histology now. Cindy, we see hyaline cartilage, respiratory epithelium, and smooth muscle. Not skeletal this time, but smooth. Hyaline cartilage, respiratory epithelium, and smooth muscles. A combination of those 3 things together, what would that equal? Trachea, or the trachea. Alright? The trachea. Okay? You will see that in trachea. Okay? Now we may also see that in a bronchus. We're also going to see that in a bronchus. But in a bronchus, what's the difference between a bronchus and the trachea? Yeah, so that's right. Right. In the bronchus, the bronchial cartilages are what? Broken down. You're very good. So the bronchial cartilages are broken down into the insulae cartilaginae. Right there into what? Little plates. Whereas in the trachea you're going to get what? One complete ring. Okay? So remember, we want to be able to identify if we're looking at what? Smooth muscle or skeletal muscle. So we're just relaxing and just having a little fun here. Alright? And we know that this is what? Skeletal muscle that we are looking at here. Alright? That's skeletal muscle. In fact, we can see what? The striations. Alright? The striations are very prominent. Okay? But that's a very good point that student made. Alright? Also, I would say to that student that the size of the lumen. In the trachea, when we look onto the slide, the lumen is huge. You can only just see maybe just a fragment of the lumen. Whereas in the bronchus, intrapulmonary bronchus, you may be seeing what? The entire tube. Okay? So the size of the lumen. When you do gut, it's like what's the difference between bile duct and gallbladder? In gallbladder, you're going to see a part of the lumen. In bile duct, you're going to see all of the lumen, or nearly all of it. Alright? Similarly, ureter and urinary bladder. Alright? All of these things, the larger the viscous is, then you're not going to see all of the what? Alright, let's look at this here. So let's just look macroscope. I found something interesting on this slide, and I just want to show it to you. Alright, it just sort of, as I put the slide on, it was there right in my face, and I was interested. I'm going to show you, but it was too premature to show you at that point. But maybe it was on my slide and not on this one. Alright, but you know what I saw on my slide? I think it's the other one. I saw the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Alright? Cindy, where would you find the recurrent laryngeal nerve? Because see it right here? That's it. That's the recurrent laryngeal nerve right there. Where do you find the recurrent laryngeal nerve?
Along the trachea.
See, between this tube and that tube. This tube and that tube. Alright? Alright, so that's just going deep to the inferior constrictor. See, deep to the, that's just at the recurrent laryngeal nerve is found in what group in the body? The tracheoesophageal group. Isn't that so? That's where you find the recurrent laryngeal nerves. And then what happened? It slips deep to the what? Inferior constrictor, passing posterior to which joint? The cricothyroid joint, okay? And just slips on the cover right there and disappears together with an artery. And that artery is what? The inferior laryngeal artery. Very good. End of story. So this slide is quite good. Alright, let's look at another larynx slide. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, so more what? More juxtaposition of what? Skeletal muscle, big chunks of skeletal muscle, lots of hyaline cartilage, and glands, as Sean would say, there are some glands right here. Over on one side seems here to be respiratory epithelium, very thin, that's respiratory over there with goblet cells. Respiratory also along here, and a bit of stratified squamous here. Alright? It's a good slide, reasonable. Nothing spectacular. Alright, reasonable slide. Alright, let's move on. Let me look at this epiglottis now. Now, you see I got some gross anatomy for them. Okay? Bronchial tree right here. Excellent. So there we are now looking at a slide of the epiglottis. Alright? And Manny, what type of cartilage would we find in the epiglottis? Elastic cartilage. Okay, Manny's sharp is on the ball. And there we see what? A lot of the elastic tissue, right? So that's elastic, elastic cartilage. And very, very strange that the epiglottis, the elastic cartilage, the epiglottis itself, I don't know why, is infiltrated with a lot of fat. So you see a lot of adipocytes. So there's in some parts quite a bit of